for the Jeff Sargent Show.
And I'm your host, Jeff Sargent.
And I'm your co-host, Pat Jankowicz.
You're the real star of the show, Pat.
Yeah, hey, Jeff, I'm glad to be your sidekick.
Well, technically, I'm your sidekick.
Yeah, either way, it makes a pretty good show, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. And we're in for Dan the
Right
Man
here
Rob.
on Kaotic Radio, only an hour away from Hollywood.
In the world.
And about 4 hours from Palm Springs. No, I'm just kidding.
What the hell would we do without Dan the Man Rob?
Oh, look, it's Dan in the control booth.
Leading us home.
Yeah.
Left at the next star and start out
It's a
the morning.
holographic clown. No, it's a real person today. Somebody clean that window.
This weekend, or the end of the month, I will be a clown.
You will?
Appearing at the Yeasty Boys.
Oh my gosh, where's this going to be?
Where are the Yeasties playing?
Las Vegas,
Wow,
Baby, where are the pops?
Oh,
Where
you
the-
are going to Las Vegas.
Yes.
Wow.
Nice.
Do they? What's the law? The clown laws there in Las Vegas?
There are no.
The streets,
We're
or?
staying at Circus.
Oh,
Wow.
go figure, huh?
So I can wear my flappy shoes, just like the way Pat wears his.
Oh, yeah. Well, available at Ross Dress for Less.
Yes.
You could find the big shoe, even shoes that are too big for Pat, are for sale at Ross Dress for Less. They're not our sponsor,
And
but
Pat will still.
you should have
feet
them
will go
sponsor
through
your
'em.
feet, man. Why don't you know?
You need a foot sponsor.
You need a shoe sponsor, bro.
Now you bums are making me feel bad. I will also say the Circus Buffet is my favorite in Vegas. The all-you-can-eat Captain Crunch especially.
What? Are you serious?
Oh, my God. You've never had breakfast in Circus?
No, I would definitely OD on the Captain Crunch. That would be a cheat day.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, just OD on all those crunch berries, man.
Oh, my God.
All that sugary sugarness.
Peanut butter crunch.
Tear up the roof of our mouth.
All-you-can-eat pancakes, too, you know?
And then the hospital clowns and the ambulance and put you on a clown gurney. Just like Pee-wee's Nightmare.
Oh, yeah. That was a good movie. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah, well, it's like that Big Adventure. It's like the clown nightmare going to Circus.
You'll pass the, speaking of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, on the way there, you'll pass the dinosaurs in Cabazon.
Oh, yes. I've been there a few times. The last time I was there, me and Tim went, and they had the animatronic dinosaurs in the back. They built a little dinosaur theme park.
Really? Was it free?
Yeah. You walk through it. They had this one T-Rex leaning over a fence, like he's gonna reach over and bite you.
Was he cartoony or was he?
No, these are real. These are like real scenes, like out there in the desert.
By the Cabazon
life-size dinosaurs.
By the Cabazon dinosaurs?
Yeah. Wow. Right behind the Pee-wees, the big T-Rex where you go inside. I crawled up there and looked out the mouth. It was.
Yeah, I've been in there.
But, the scene you see in Pee-wee, that was a created set.
Jeff Sargent has always wanted to be in a dinosaur's anus.
No, it was his mouth. Dinosaur's mouth. That's just as bad, isn't it?
Well, for you, yes. Dinosaur doesn't know where you've been.
Yeah.
Thank you for that 30-second callback to your life as a Pee Wee Herman impersonator, Dan.
Have you been in the Brontosaurus gift shop? You go in the Brontosaurus, and that's where the gift shop is.
Yeah, I got a T-shirt there.
Our guest will be here in about 20, 30 minutes.
Oh, did she write you or you just
A
talking?
little bit of traffic. That happens when you're
Jeff,
coming out.
We didn't have time yesterday because we had a guest and he came early, actually.
Oh, yeah, it was.
So tell me about Louisiana.
Yeah.
Story.
Talk about your trip into nowhere.
My trip into nowhere where there's alligators. Alligators are everywhere.
Yeah, alligator sausage.
You've seen that stuff, little memes on Facebook, on YouTube, where the alligators in the front door. That stuff really happened.
Did you go to the Tabasco Museum?
No, I didn't know there was one.
Did you go to the gator farm?
I didn't go to a gator farm. I went on a a boat that toured the bayou, and we feed marshmallows to the alligators. They could see the little white spots. They could spot that on the water. If you put a fish or, the guy brings a stick with a rubber duck on it and slaps it on the water, so they could sense something's going on. And then they see that little white dot and they come swimming for you. And they got a sweet tooth. Yep.
In New Orleans is
New
also
Orleans, them
famous.
alligators got a sweet tooth, and they'll eat that marshmallow right on that stick.
And you even picked up that little Louisiana town.
Did you know what? I had a gator sausage sandwich. A gator sausage sandwich. I wasn't too crazy about it. It took me a while to eat it. And then they threw in here. Why don't you take on these here crawfish? And I tasted them crawfish, and I wasn't crazy about crawfish because it's just too damn much work.
Yeah, that's ugly. They're ugly.
They're ugly. They're mud bugs. They call them mud bugs.
They're bottom feeders.
They're bottom feeders.
What are they called? Mud bugs?
Mud bugs, yeah.
What, the alligators?
No, the crawfish. But the swimps, I like them swimps, though. Even though if you get the swimp, then you still got to peel them out of their shell. It's a lot of work, man, for them crustaceans.
Oh, wow. They don't peel them and deep fry them like
crawfish and swimps is like go together like Rosecrans and Crenshaw.
Now, New Orleans is famous for its voodoo. Did you buy a voodoo doll or anything?
You know what? I should have. There's a lot of.
Did you visit any of the?
There's a lot of people I would love to stick
shops?
those pins in. What? Not a lot of commercial gift shops,
Oh, they're commercial. Yeah, of course.
They're, the tourist trap. There's some shops on the outskirts of the French Quarter that have some really cool stuff. Antique stores and mysterious gifts and voodoo dolls. The real stuff, man. Fortune tellers. Fortune queen from New Orleans. Yeah. She's there. The water there is brackish. It's just muddy. It's kind of where the salt and the fresh water mix.
That's gross.
And the big old lake there, or whatever it's called, the big old long bridge that where you get into New Orleans down there, it's huge. It looks like you said in Lake Michigan where you can't see the other side.
Right.
Well, it's like that, but the water is only like 10 feet deep.
Wow.
It's shallow water, man.
Really?
Shallow. Yeah.
So besides all that, how was the show, The Preacher?
I never got to work on it. They just filmed the last episode.
You just traveled
the season, and I never got to work.
No.
But Chris told me we're going back in June.
And you're gonna watch them not work?
And then June, but it's not gonna. It's gonna be in Atlanta. There's a movie gonna be starting in Atlanta. The Preacher is gonna continue. It's not like I discussed the show with your brother, and it's not like the comic. It's the show. The characters could have been cast better,
Well, I noticed they're doing the Preacher episodes, and the tone is wrong from the comic, and
yeah,
who cares, and once they got the tone wrong, I could care less.
Yeah.
Garth Ennis, great writer.
Great writer. They're going to do season 4 in New Mexico.
Wow, they're bailing in Louisiana.
Yeah, they're bailing Louisiana. Season 4 is because the geography changes. They're moving the adventure, and the quest and everything goes.
That's amazing.
To New Mexico.
Yeah, a lot of places are now filming in New Mexico. You look at the
Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul.
Yeah. Breaking Bad was there.
The Terminator TV series, and the last 3 Terminator movies.
And Thor, the first Thor movie.
Yeah. It was set in Arizona, shot in New Mexico.
Yeah. That's funny how they always change the state. They'll film in another state to be somewhere else.
Yeah. This is true.
Like the atomic bomb that goes off, that's going to go off in season 4. You know, for the cowboy from Preacher.
Oh, yeah, I just can't bring myself to, you know what I mean?
Yeah? Do you like the comic?
I got into it because my brother Steven would read it. And I loved anything Garth Ennis did was great. The Punisher, Preacher. Ennis came out in the Empire for Free Comic Book Day, but I had so many errands, and we always go back to my shop as a kid out here, which was Funny Business.
Yeah.
You know? So we went to see Joey and Pomona at Funny Business. And by the time I got back to Cucamonga, Garth Ennis was already gone from the local shop there, you know?
Yeah.
What are you going to say to him? If you're not interviewing him, there's no sense wasting your time, you know?
Yeah, we missed him. We missed him the other, that day when he was over here at 4-Color Comics.
There you go.
Now, one of my favorite writers was Frank Miller for Daredevil. What are your thoughts on him? He was kind of dark.
He had a rep as a bit of a D-bag. You know what I mean? I saw him at a San Diego comic.
He's an older guy, isn't he?
Yeah. He had some issues, which I heard he's finally gotten taken care of. But I remember seeing him at some party at Comic-Con, and he was kind of short, but he's wearing these boots with lifts in them and a cowboy hat indoors at this party. And it's like, dude, you're from New York or Vermont. You're not a cowboy.
You write comic books.
You write comic books, man. You're not an effing cowboy. And he's just sitting in the corner drinking and glaring at everyone. And it's like, please.
But I did see a car. This is my first on-set car explosion I seen. I filmed it.
Where were you? The Middle East?
Right downtown, man.
Yeah, what car did you bomb?
Yeah.
It was a SUV. They had the hero car. The guy was getting in it, cut, and then they tow it out, push in the blow-up car, which doesn't have a motor. You know, everything's, and they pack it with sand and a charge. And gasoline, detonator.
Gasoline.
Oh yeah, and they had 10 cameras on it, and it blew up about 30 foot in the air, and it was loud.
So what happened? You were going out. Now, what I warned you when you were leaving, my friends from the movie in Colorado were warning me. You know, they came out for Monster Palooza because people kept snaking gigs from them in Colorado. And she was going to go, one of my friends, Sarah, was going to do a movie in Louisiana. And she said it was such a problem. Other Louisianans out of work were lowering their prices and stealing work from them.
That's what's going on, yeah.
Because nobody's working. There's so many people there who thought they were going to hit the jackpot that now they're underbidding each other and stealing the gigs to just stay working. That happened to you, right?
Yeah, that's why we have to go to Atlanta and Georgia.
So,
Atlanta,
Patrick,
Georgia,
you went to Monster Palooza, right?
I did.
Yeah, I saw pictures on the internet.
I had a fantastic time. They're great people. It's my favorite convention in Southern California, even over Comic-Con.
Tammy went to Tammy Rapp, who comes into our show.
A.K.A. Betty Beware.
Yes.
I ran into Betty and her family. I ran into them, I think, on the last day, on Sunday.
So you did see them. Okay.
Yeah. Briefly, but I did see them. And it's my favorite convention. It's dark. It doesn't really feel like a convention. It feels like hanging out with a lot of...
Like backstage with and shooting the shit. And
You'll run into people you worked on different stuff. And you know, people who do cool monster gigs and cool movies, that sort of thing. Effects artists.
And the effects demonstrations, the people getting their makeup done It's really doing the transformation process is really amazing.
This year, everybody's assignment was to do, every makeup artist there was recreating an old Rick Baker makeup, which I thought was interesting. You know what I mean? So you'd see them, all the people, all these Oscar-winning effects people are recreating low-budget Rick Baker makeups from this guy from Covina, you know, and I thought that was kind of cool.
That's cool. So you saw Tammy there, and that's cool because I know she told me, she goes, are you going to be there? I'm like, well, no, that's not my gig. You know, Patrick and Jeff may be there. Jeff, I think, is still in Louisiana. So,
Right.
But I know Patrick would be there, so she's like, okay, I'll look out for him, you know?
Yeah, because I've booked a couple gigs there. I booked a couple gigs there for the Bigfoot movie. I booked at my friend's. Well, I've known Patrick McGee, who was on earlier this week, forever. And I booked the Bigfoot gig at his booth. I think you were there.
Yeah.
You know, my brother and Neil. And so I booked that at his booth. And I booked the other Danny Trejo movie I did, not Burning Dead, but the other one. I booked at one of Pat McGee's Monsterpalooza parties, you know. And you know, he's recommended me for something, and then they called up. And I dig it. It's a bunch of like-minded individuals.
It's a good place to network.
Yeah, and I love the Brodskys. Elliot Brodsky puts it on, and he's this cool Long Island, New York guy. He didn't live too far from the Amityville Horror House. Loves monsters. Has done makeup, special effects. Him and his family are just, I love them. They're good people, you know, and it's a great convention. I mean, even Comic-Con and everything else have gotten so big, you know, and they're fun, you know, they're enjoyable. But I don't know how they've done it. This was the 10th anniversary of Monsterpalooza. And Elliot Brodsky has kept it feeling like an intimate jam, you know? Hanging with people you know and just having a great time.
That's good. The only one, you know, because I'm not a big comic book or a big movie guy, the only one I've been to is the one in City of Industry.
Frankensons.
Oh, Frankensons, yeah.
Yeah, Frankensons.
That's every week.
It's every week. It's a great... Frankensons is great.
I mean, it's like a swap meet to me.
Yeah, it's a swap meet for nerdism, for all your nerdy needs, man. All your collectibles, whether it's action figures, comic books,
baseball cards,
wrestling masks,
T-shirts. And, yeah. I mean, my two little nephews, my brother brings my two little nephews out. We take them to Frankensons, and I basically buy them their weight in Legos. We do Legos, and then we go to Little Caesars. It's just... I love Frankensons. The people are good. It's to me, if you want the Comic-Con experience without all the detriments, it's a free convention.
Yeah.
You're not waiting in the line.
Twice a week.
Yeah, twice a week, you know.
And if I did have the money there to spend, I would. I mean, all the collectibles, you know, place to put them, I would fill this whole room up with shelves and displays.
You wait a week. What I love about Frankensons, I always joke with the nephews, is like the ocean. You know, I tell their dad, you give it a week, you skip it for a week, and it's all new stuff. Yeah. You know? It's like just the tide comes in with a bunch of new stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm not really... I didn't buy anything. We just walked around.
It's like having your own toy closet, and you go to visit it.
Yeah.
And that's how you save the money. That's how you don't spend the money.
You don't spend the money.
Look at all the Predator action figures and all the giant size aliens, and
everybody has a jam there. Like there's a couple whose booth is nothing but Predator stuff. Yeah. You know, and I love that.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah,
yeah.
And
they got the helmets, the mask. Figures that are 12 inches high.
They're always watching Predator as well. Predator's on them. I ain't got time to bleed. You are one ugly son of a, you know. And I mean, I could. And the new Predator trailer just dropped for the remake or reboot.
Oh, they're going to do a reboot. Just
Shane Black. Yeah, the Predator's running around the suburbs.
Which who's going to play? What tall guy are they getting?
Well, by the time I heard, they're already shooting, so I was like bummed.
Oh man, that could have been your gig.
I wanted to be a Predator.
That would be great, man. You would have been like, didn't somebody approach you and say that you would be good for that?
You know what? I got grabbed for like a Predator knockoff. Some Predator knockoff. Well, the thing I did with Danny Trejo, the Prey is kind of a Predator knockoff, but. I would always get a call at the last minute they were doing a Predator ripoff, and then they'd get a 6-foot guy and fake it and all this. So heartbreaking.
Yeah. Remember that little kid that was about 6 years old or so as a Predator? His parents made him in that Predator costume. That was badass. That was a great job on that.
I was thinking that because Barry Papik, he played high school, I guess, in high school. The school he went to, one of his stories yesterday, great guest yesterday, by the way, Barry Papik.
Oh, that was a great.
And Sandy Duarte.
Oh, God, he was funny, man. That guy's great stories.
Very funny, very smart. She was so charming, so Canadian. The two of them were, the last 2 days of shows, Pat McGee and Bobby Garcia Jr., they were just terrific, I really enjoyed the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Bobby was great, and Pat was great calling in. And, and you couldn't beat Barry and
Sandy. Yeah, Sandy. Barry and Sandy
what
were
was Barry
terrific.
talking about the Predator thing at the school you were talking
He went to high school. Was it high school? He went to high school with Kevin Peter Hall.
That's right. He was telling us that story. Yeah.
He played the Predator. He played Harry and the Hendersons. And Predator itself was a knockoff on this early 80s horror movie called Without Warning with Larry Storch. And David Caruso's in it before Rambo, before CSI. And it's about an alien who throws blood-sucking parasites and he hunts a bunch of people out in the woods. Like animals. My God, a beautiful silhouette has just appeared in the wow.
Okay, it's time for us to quit talking about garden.
Woo! Not bad. Thank you for coming. What would you like to drink?
Do you have coffee by chance?
No, we had coffee.
Remember, we've only got our coffee machine has been taken to the other room.
Yes.
My Dutchie did it.
How did you let this happen?
Yeah, we're on.
I don't know. I didn't do anything wrong. I don't think.
Yeah, we're on coffee timeout. So,
welcome, Caroline DeGrave is in the house.
Yes, hi. Thank you for having
Our
me.
guest.
Which one am I using?
Let's see. You're on this one, Caroline. You're on mic number 4.
4. Excellent.
Okay, Dan, let me know where the water is because I see none in the fridge.
I just brought water in yesterday.
You're flying no frills today, baby.
Where the wine bottles are.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
Those little grenade things.
Grenades.
In the fridge?
Grenades.
What?
You have grenades. You have grenades.
The water ball grenade. I call them grenades because they're the short little bottles.
Oh, the little
Yeah.
airplane balls.
Yeah, because I hate bringing in the full 16-ounce bottles because nobody finishes them, and I have to end up throwing them away. I water the plants with them.
Do you
I bring them home, and it's my dog gets water from bottled water.
Do you remember that these are side feed microphones?
No.
Yeah, put that to the side.
It goes to the side, right there. There you
Okay.
go, sweetheart.
Yeah, it's like an arrow on here.
Yeah, there you go. Follow the arrow.
Follow the arrow. Okay, I can follow
Here's your
direction.
cool energy drink, Blondie.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
energize!
Woo-hoo. Thank you.
Of course. All right, Enchantress,
Now
tell
I'm
us what you've been
getting
up.
hot and I'm starting to sweat now. I gotta change.
Part of Jeff's restraining order.
Oh man!
He hasn't seen a real woman in 5 years.
Oh my God. No, I've been here since then.
So tell us, Caroline, have you done your Bollywood Medusa gig?
Oh, no, that got pushed back till end of fall because they have more money coming in.
Wow, that means more special effects.
Yes, good.
So
Good
that's
deals.
really good. And the script's been updated to encompass the funding. So
Wow.
we have to add some battle scenes in there and whatnot. So,
Wow, but you'll have a tail and everything now then,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes, and then I know that we're going to be filming a teaser for it, possibly in the UK or possibly here on US
They
territory.
might be sending you to England.
So
Knock on wood.
I might be going in July, but we're still waiting for the producer to okay that.
Wow. Have you had a live cast yet?
No. No, it's all been video so far. Everything.
That'll be fun.
It'll be a lot of fun, yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Wow. And this is your first special effects gig, right?
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
you'll dig
I'm
it.
super excited about that.
You should be.
I like
Until your live cast, when you're laying there covered in plaster.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's great.
That's going to be a lot of fun. I know. Tomorrow I'm continuing to film Undrafted, that short film I told you guys about last time I was here.
Right.
And so the one that I play an FBI agent. So,
Wow. Do you have an overcoat yet?
I don't know. We're not doing overcoats. I have a business jacket and I've got an FBI badge. And
Yeah, I was about to ask, have they done the picture for your FBI badge yet?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I did that, and then I've got an FBI hat that he's got for me.
Wow,
So,
bravo.
yeah.
We're on, by the way, if you just tuned in, with the lovely Carolyn DeGrave, right?
Caroline DeGray.
DeGrave. I called you DeGrave and somebody corrected me, so.
Oh, no, it's fine. Oh, sure.
And there's cream cheese, too, if you want to like some, too.
Okay.
Bring it in, man. If you're going to spring, here we go.
No, I love food. So
I have
no
my
problem.
butler, Dan the Man Rupp, taking care of our enchanting guest.
Oh, thank you.
She said thank you, Dan.
So yeah, there's a lot of things going on. Let's see. We have. I'm working on like several projects. I met with a few people from another possible movie that could be starting. It'd be a trilogy.
Horror,
And,
sci-fi?
It would be kind of a old like 20s through 40s gangster type stuff.
Really? What's it called?
It's Family Legacy, and it's written by Jack O'Halloran.
Wow.
Our buddy Jack.
Our buddy Jack.
Yeah, and I met with him yesterday.
Oh, so this is the book he did on his father is Albert Anastasia, the Angel of Death.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. And I went to go see at the Film Noir Festival last night in Palm Springs. Went to go see this movie.
Kiss Me Deadly.
Farewell,
Oh, which one?
Farewell, My Lovely.
Oh, yeah. With Jack is in.
Fantastic film. I loved it. And the humor that was involved, and the
It's really smart, really well shot, too.
Yeah, really well shot. I love the sense of humor in it.
Mm.
I was like, this is great. 'Cause it's so not PC, like everything is right now.
Where did they show it, by the way? We're in Palm Springs. Was it at the Harkins?
No, at the Camelot.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going through. I think there's more movies going through Sunday, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you have a chance to get out,
Oh, that's why you're so tan. You just got back from Palm
Well,
Springs.
that's where I live. And
Oh,
I
wow.
was on the drive over here. It was sunny where I lived, and then all of a sudden I'm getting like gray clouds, and I got a few like raindrops in the windshield.
Welcome to the Inland Empire,
And
baby.
I don't have any of the rubber wiper stuff on my wipers. Like,
Oh no, you're like my brother Donald. He never changes them. He thinks they're gonna grow back.
Well, that's what I think. Because in the desert we don't use them; they crack and fall off.
Right.
That's what happens.
Yeah, they just rot in the
Yeah,
desert and
exactly.
Which
So-
happens to most of the skin of the older Palm Springians.
Yeah,
They just crack and
that's what it is. It's like face stuff.
exactly. I mean, again, Palm Springs. There was nothing to do but go to Ruby's and what's that sandwich shop? Baxter's. What's it called?
Sandwich shop. There's a lot of them.
It's a deli though. What's it called?
Deli at Sherman's.
Sherman's. Thank you with the checkerboard sign. Yeah.
Yes, they're great.
Wait, I did a teen sex comedy in Palm Springs like 6 years ago, and the only thing to do Thursday was antique night, and every other time it was never under 110.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
We would crawl from the cast and crew. We would crawl from the hotel across the street to your 14-plex or whatever the local,
Yeah, right.
And that was the only place you could find air conditioning if you weren't in the hotel pool,
Ah.
It sounds like the desert.
Wow.
We get used to it, though. I mean, when you live in it, my house is kept at, like, usually 80 in the summer. And
Wow.
that's, almost 40 degrees less than what it is outside. People say 80, isn't that hot for your house? I'm like, no.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
Not out there.
No, I mean, I freeze and below 70.
Really?
I put jeans and a hoodie on if I go to the beach and it's below 70.
You're like a snake. You just go into a torpor.
I know, right? That's how it is when you live in the desert. Your blood thins out to, less volume than water.
I see those pictures of Jean Coulter, and she looks so comfortable.
I saw you hanging with Gene Coulter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Through Steve Joyner.
Yeah.
And he put us in contact with one another, and she's starting that organization of the International Stunt Women's Organization.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, so that's going to be happening. I think the website's up, but it's not going to be really functional for another month. And then they have offices kind of everywhere right now in LA and Vegas and a few other places.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, so it's international. So she's got a lot of friends that have been in the business for years that she's bringing on, and I mean, just it's a fantastic organization. She was telling me a little bit about it. That I'm like, okay, well, let me know more as things progress, and it sounds really great. It sounds really great for the industry, so that people can go find these people, that they're all in one place, all in one site. Because right now they're kind of scattered, and trying to find a stunt woman apparently is a hard thing for some productions.
She sent me pictures. She showed me pictures of the building they're getting for that.
She did?
Main office. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I haven't seen them. She told me about them, but I know they have one of the floors of a huge building in Vegas.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Floor.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's your hand grenade.
I was like, ooh.
Pull the pin and drink up.
Oh, right on, I know. Yeah, so that's looking really good right now. And then I have a few other things. Like I'm meeting with Ken Carpenter on Sunday.
From Hellraiser. Yeah.
That's Camerahead Cinema.
Camerahead
Yes,
Cinema,
exactly.
yeah.
He's coming on the show, but he's not ready yet. He'll be ready in about a week or so.
Tell his damn ass we'll let him know when he's ready.
Yeah, well, let him know. You get your ass on down.
It's Hot Chick Friday. We've got our hot chick. We don't need Ken Carpenter today.
Right, yeah. He's a fun guy, so I've been talking to him a little bit, so he invited me out, so I'm going to go out there and we're going to kick it and see what we can come up with together.
Cool.
He's got one. He's got that writing in the works, man. He's got that one.
Well, he's got a few things going on right now, so
he's got a movie working on. And he's going to bring us on board. Yes.
Woo, very nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, these people are such great talkers. They have such great stories. I mean, because they don't live your everyday life type thing.
Right.
It's it's not like talking to your neighbor about the dog that ran away or the whatever is going on. But it's they really have some life experiences that you don't hear from everybody.
When I did that movie, I found on the weekend I would get bored, and there was nothing to do in Palm Springs on Sunday except go to Ruby's, and Cathedral City or Cat City as they call it. Mm-hmm. And you would run into somebody who was on the original Star Trek as a guest or something. And I mean, half the older folks there, thank you, Dan. Closer to the microphone, Caroline. There we go. Perfect.
That's better.
Look at that. Look in the window.
Closer. Okay, so I have a little cue over here.
You do.
I got to turn my head to see.
Point it carefully at the back of your head, yes. Oh, Dan came in here. I almost pushed your head forward.
Okay. Well, we need to put a mirror or one of those convex mirrors.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you hold it under the bars. See if.
Okay. Yeah, we'll figure something out.
I don't know what those are.
Oh. But were you for a refresher for the audience? You weren't born in Palm Springs, though.
No, I'm a transplant from France.
Wow, that's right.
Yeah, from France. Oh, that's why Jeff East was going off on that.
That's why.
Le France.
Yeah.
No, not France. France. She's from Lake Paris.
From Normandy.
From Paris.
An Inland Empire joke for the rest of you listening.
No, from
you can spell
from France,
Paris.
Normandy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the rainy area where we get all the wonderful weather from the English Channel.
Wow, you've come so far from the wet, cold English countryside.
I know. I was born on a night it was dark and cold and stormy. In November of a long time ago.
Oh, not that long, actress. Stop beating yourself up.
Have you ever been to the Cannes Film Festival?
I have not. I have not made my way there yet. Yeah. I want to, but...
Have you ever been in the American film market?
No.
Okay, you should
No.
go to that. That's local.
There's a lot of things on my bucket list that I have yet to do. I mean, I have more things on my bucket list than the things I've done in my life. You know,
Oh, don't be that way.
It's probably a good thing to be that way. I mean, I have a list of mile long of things I want to do and places I want to go, and I don't even know if I'll finish that before I die. But
You're pretty cheery for a Friday.
Yeah.
that's very cheerful for me.
That's Monday fatalism we're hearing now, but this is Friday, baby. Everything's possible on a Friday.
No, I thought that was a very cheerful thought. I was like, and you know what? I will never be bored.
Well,
I'll always have something to look forward to, and somewhere I'm going, places to go,
places to go, things
People
to
to
do.
do.
People to
Wow,
see. Money
you are an
chocolate.
actress. Producers are running for their phones now.
I know, right? Yeah, no, they're actually running from their phones.
Oh,
Right now, it's a little slow in that business.
oh, this is true.
Right? They're staying under the radar. They're like,
Exactly. This is the fall of the Harvey Hindenburg.
what hashtag am I going to fall under?
But we've got to go out there, grab that money, and put it right here.
Yes. That's the idea of this whole industry. You got to do a lot to get there, but
This is true.
You know what? I don't know. Like if it wasn't fun, we wouldn't do it.
Hey, it's full of disappointment. Right, Patrick?
Why are you pointing at me? My IMDb is like 3 times yours.
But in showbiz, it does have some. It's not all happy. Go, you know.
Oh, there's
No,
a lot-
nothing is. If anything good is
It's
worth
hard
working
work.
for.
People just think, oh, showbiz, you're living the life and the dream.
Put it on
Oh,
her.
my
That's the
God.
money shot. There we go.
No, it's
The
true.
charming blonde. We don't need to look at your face for an hour.
No, but
I'm
you're
talking to
right.
him,
The
not you.
entertainment industry is there's a lot of business, a lot of hoops to jump through, a lot of people to talk with. And it's amazing how much energy it takes.
My friends in Colorado who jump between stuff there in Atlanta and Louisiana, it's so tough there right now that we were talking about this before you got here.
Mm-hmm.
People who are already out there are undercutting other people's bids to steal their gig because there's no work, you know? It's like a bunch of rats in a bag, you know, and they're just doing whatever they can to survive by effing over everyone else.
That's the nature of the industry. I mean, people in LA are doing that, and like over there, it's saturated with people that want work.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how it's always been. But you know, it's gotten to the point that I mean, people are always telling me go to LA, and I'm like, I don't know how I would stand out in LA. Honestly, I don't know where the exposure would come from because you're among so many that are doing the same thing. And I mean, for me, I kind of look at it like the desert. I actually tend to get better exposure because there's less saturation. There's less people involved with entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of tend to stand out a little bit more if you're doing stuff. But so
Makes sense.
it works to our benefit, I think, to stay out of LA a little bit, but be within reach. Like,
Yeah.
I can go there fairly easily. I mean, you know, catch me on a good day, traffic's not going crazy. I'm like,
Yeah, you're
okay.
an hour and 10 even with traffic, you know?
With traffic, no, 3 hours.
Without traffic, sorry. Hour and 20 without traffic?
No, without traffic. Really, if I'm just going to the east edge of LA,
Right.
maybe 2.5 hours. Wow. Yeah, but it goes by really fast. I mean, honestly, it's like you put your music on and you have your coffee and you know, window down. I'm like,
Well, we just had a San Andreas fault earthquake
Yeah.
3
I
days
didn't-
ago in
I
Cabazon.
didn't
Did you
feel
feel that?
nothing.
no, I slept right through.
I slept through it too,
Yeah.
you know, and there was like a 4.0
I know,
aftershock.
everybody's all posting
know.
earthquake, shake, like what?
That's what I felt like. I was like, you know how many of those I felt? Whatever.
Yeah, I didn't
when
feel
you live
anything.
in California, right on the fault, it's like, okay, unless it's like a 6, I'm not going to pay attention. You know. And I'm
Unless
just-
buildings are crumbling.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
just,
I mean, if I feel my like, you know, if I'm standing in the doorway and that's having a problem, then I've got to get out of the house.
wow. Wow. Her own personal preparation for the big one.
Right? No, but it's funny because I talk to a lot of people that have never been in earthquakes or don't live in earthquake area, and they're like, "Oh my god, what do you do?" I'm like, "Not much, really. Not much you can do."
Wow.
It's like it passes, or if it's really that big, there's not much you can do.
Right.
What are you gonna do? Drive across cracking asphalt? Like,
Yeah, like in
Like
a
a mess.
Yeah, like The Rock in San Andreas.
Right? I know.
Drive faster! And of course, he always seems to drive the truck before the overpass collapses.
Right. Yeah. It's the kind of thing. It's like, no, that doesn't happen in real life.
In real life, he's under the overpass, drinking his own urine, waiting to be saved.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. No. I love those movies, though. I mean, one person's going to make it out alive and save the entire city. I'm like,
And your helpful direction is, step on it!
Right? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, drive faster in an earthquake. That'll work.
Although I think under stress, I might do that.
Really?
I mean, under stress, and if I was like really like panicking and I was seeing buildings fall, I mean, honestly, drive slow or drive fast.
Yeah, you're driving fast as buildings collapse right behind you.
I mean,
it's like the plane
kind of thing,
taking off.
Right? Yeah, it's like I think in that situation, I mean, I think logic goes out the door. You're like, I'm just going to try to get out of here.
I always think of that. One of the most horrific earthquake stories is there's an overpass named after a motorcycle cop over by Silmar during the Northridge quake. You know, it's on the way to the Disney Ranch.
Oh yeah.
During the Northridge quake, he hopped on his motorcycle, and after the Northridge quake, all hands on deck. All the police were called in, all the firefighters. So he got on his motorcycle, charged to work, not knowing that one of the overpasses he went across had collapsed. So this in pitch darkness, he suddenly saw there was no more road and went and died. You know?
Oh my! Wow! I was waiting for the, like,
no, nothing funny. Yeah, you're waiting for the because
I was like, you motocross.
Yeah, and the movie will be like, pick it up, and then you say he did the throttle and jumped the.
I was thinking motocross with land. He could totally do that. I had images of a school bus going over an overpass that wasn't completed yet.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Caroline. Hollywood has lied to her. She's talking about speed.
Right. That's right.
Shot on the Century Freeway, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, before it opened, all those scenes in Speed of it hauling down the freeway, that was the Century. Before they opened the 105, the Century Freeway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was CGI or what. They just took out a part of the freeway.
They actually made scale model miniature.
Yeah, because,
really? Okay.
For the jump scenes. Yeah.
Because a bus can't jump a chasm.
Oh, it can't?
No.
Because I totally fell for it.
See, yeah, but if they picked up the speed, if we just said, floor it! Of course, then it works.
Yeah, right?
Yes,
no, a bus would not. It would just...
And it wasn't even launching from anything. It would just,
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? That's exactly what happened.
I'm the son of an aerospace engineer. This is how physics works.
Right? I know, it's barely an incline of like 10 degrees.
Right,
What
yeah.
is that? Like,
But you get a 3-foot miniature bus and launch it.
I mean, those Hot Wheels can do a lot.
Yeah. Hot Wheels can do it.
I mean, I my son had them when he was young, and I'd be like, see, a school bus can do this, totally.
And trust me, if you ever fought with your brothers and you got whacked with a Hot Wheel track,
Ow.
It was like you got hit by lightning.
Yeah, those things really are sharp.
And you'd hear it. If my brother Don swung on you, and suddenly you felt like you were literally hit by lightning.
Yeah, we had a lot of Hot Wheels. We had a lot of Hot Wheels growing up.
Wow.
And, my son has a lot of them and has a whole racetrack and whatnot.
Wow. But so, did you have a lot of brothers growing up?
I had one brother.
Wow. Older, younger?
Younger.
Wow.
2.5 years younger.
Wow. So you did have Hot Wheels.
Oh, yes, yeah. I played with most of his and his friends' toys because they were a lot more fun than girl toys.
Right.
And I don't know if that's a true thing for most women or girls growing up, but I had a lot more fun playing with the boys' toys than I did with the girls' toys.
I remember my sister and I shared a room when it was like 4 or 5, and she would have the Barbies, and I would have like robots and monsters, and she'd say, "Let's play with our toys." And my robots and everything were always being chastised for acting like robots or monsters. It's like, well, why the hell would a robot and a monster go to a girl's tea party?
Well,
it made no sense.
I see it happen quite a bit.
Wow.
Well, do you remember when the Evel Knievel stunt cycle came out in the mid-70s?
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
you cranked it up, and girls loved that toy so much they had to make like a Pinky Tuscadero type of a female Evel Knievel.
You safe, baby.
They just made us a girl
Just
version.
nod and pretend you know what he's talking
I
about.
know
with
mid
a-
80s, but I'm like mid 70s. Oh.
Were you a She-Ra girl?
Huh?
Were you a She-Ra girl?
No.
You weren't saving up your money to go to Etheria?
No.
Wow.
No.
Smurfs.
Yes.
Wow.
I love the Smurfs. I love Thundercats.
Wow. Thunder.
Thundercat.
Yeah,
She was, what was her name?
Chitara, man.
Chitara.
Wow.
I wanted her be her.
Wow.
We were.
We demand you come back as her.
I know. For Halloween, I'm going to try to do this. Thundercats.
Yeah, please.
Pat-
You're in the Halloween show. If you come back.
I took pictures of Pat with the getting makeup at the convention.
Oh, that's right. When Berman Studios, Sticks and Stones.
Yeah.
They've done me for a couple of creature gigs, so they asked me to
cool.
be their demonstration. And there was a girl being done up as Chitan.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, I love that character.
Wow. Okay, you have to come back as her in October.
Definitely.
Okay, now that we're all fantasizing about Caroline and her
Chitara.
and her Chitara.
This is a guaranteed
There you
comeback.
Yes, I can do my spots, my hair, and everything.
But the circles around your eyes, that's very
Circles around
important.
the eyes, and then
And the cat nose. Weirdly enough, that's hot.
Yeah. And was it? Well, they had a cat in that show too, huh? Did they?
They're all
They
cats.
Had, well, no,
It's
but they
called
had a small
Thundercats.
cat. I know, but they had a small
was
cat.
It's in the name.
They had a domestic cat that hung out with them.
Sneasel
But
or
it
something.
wasn't
yeah.
even really a cat. It was a weird creature.
Yes,
It
yeah.
He was kind of an Orko
Like half
knockoff
cat.
from
Yes,
He-Man.
Snarf.
Yeah.
Snarf, wow.
Snarf, yes.
And of course, because it's his name, that's the only sound he makes.
Snarf.
Yeah.
Why do you walk around saying that?
Wow.
Yeah, I remember that. And then I watched He-Man and I watched She-Ra.
But you weren't. You didn't like She-Ra. You didn't want to be She-Ra?
Well, I didn't want to be her. I didn't like princesses.
Wow.
I had a thing with that, and I still don't really.
But she was the Princess of Power. She earned her place. She was an equal, not a sequel to He-Man.
That's what turned her. She'd rather be a villain and take her crown
yes,
away.
yes.
Wow.
But I think
Destroy
villains
the
are fun.
tiara.
No, I just never really saw myself as a princess type person, and even with people like doing their little hashtag princesses and putting themselves in little crowns,
yeah.
I was like, what is this? Like we're not kids. Stop.
Yeah. Don't say anything, Dan.
You'll never catch Caroline in a princess dress at Disneyland.
No, unless I'm getting paid a lot.
Wow. Yeah, Harvey Weinstein, put this on.
I'll be the witch with the poison apple before I be the Cinderella.
Oh yes. I mean, it just sounds like a funner role.
I'll dress as Papa Smurf.
There you go.
Creep.
Would that turn you on?
Anything you go shirtless, painted blue if we're done.
Isn't there an episode with an evil Smurfette? I think when she was first, because Smurfette was first created by Gargamel.
Wow.
To bait the Smurfs to like show Gargamel where the village was, because he was always trying to find the Smurf
And the
village.
Smurfs are kind of a male organization until she
There
shows
are
up.
no females in
I
there.
know one Smurfette, that little whore.
Right?
I mean, there should be more Smurfettes.
I know. I was always wondering, why is there only one? I don't
Until
know.
she showed up, they were just singing and masturbating.
Yeah, she was doing all of them.
Like, how did they multiply before Smurfette?
By the way,
And there's always that question of why there's so many of them. Like, where did they
asexual
come from?
reproduction, or they kill the female.
Either that, but they live in a mushroom village, so maybe they're just kind of like a spawn of algae.
Yeah,
or
they're
something.
just like a spore.
Smurfs came
Smurf
up out of the
spores?
ground. Started
Wow.
walking around.
What was your toy of choice as a little girl?
God,
What-
that's hard. Let's see. We played a lot of games that took imagination. We'd be outside, we'd make up worlds, my brother and I. And we'd have like these space worlds, and like we became like whatever characters, and we just picked up whatever weapon we wanted. And usually it had to do with like sticks around the yard, and we'd pretend like these guns can do really cool things. And this can do this laser, this one can freeze you, this one can kill you at like 100 miles away, and then it became 1,000,000 miles away. And then pretty soon no one can die.
And then you got to change the rules.
Right? And I was the one always trying to change the rules or breaking the rules. And then my brother would
Atta
do
girl.
the same thing, and then like it never got us anywhere, but it was fun because the game would continue for days. We'd leave off like at dinner or something, and the next day we'd pick up where we left off. And
Really?
yeah, we had a lot of games like that took a lot of imagination, and we were outside constantly with all sorts of different things, and that was kind of like what we did. It was fun.
Intriguing.
Yeah, the games as far as like in the house, I mean, we'd play with whatever we had or whatever our parents bought us, but that was not what kept our interest. It was just kind of they were strewn around the room, and we'd hurt our feet if we were walking around in the dark, or we'd break stuff. I think the records.
We had I was the middle of 5, and so we would all have Fisher Price. You know, one guy would have the Fisher Price Airport, my sister would have the Fisher Price Home, my brother would have the Sesame Street. We'd all put them together, and you'd have an entire town.
Yeah.
And our games tend to get rougher. You know, we had planes crashing into houses and stuff.
Yeah.
And we had to have a rule set by my sister. If she was going to play with us, she would have the perfect family in her Fisher Price game, and they couldn't be harmed like they would. Like the rest of us would have like a train go into a building and all this. Diane's family could not be destroyed by the rest of our carnage.
Shut up, Jeff East.
Shh.
No, that's funny. That's funny.
Jeff is on
Jeff
there.
is on again?
Yeah, you know,
Hi, Jeff.
he was at Cannes Film
I
Festival.
keep waiting for your phone call, Jeff.
Oh.
Well, he says he's got the project for you in June next month. Oh, my God.
Well, PM me. Leave me details. I'll fly out to France.
Wow, there you go.
Le France.
Yeah, my family's going to be there. I can visit
Sacre
them while I'm
bleu.
there. Everyone's leaving to France this summer, and they're leaving me here because I got to work.
Oh, you poor thing. That's
I know.
terrible.
I know, it's terrible. It's the life of an actress.
There you go. Well, this is true. So when you have a gig, you can't, run off.
No, if I sign an LOI or an MOU or any of these other acronyms that I'm learning over time, it's like everything's an acronym.
There's so many acronyms now, and I didn't know what S was. Shake my head. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah,
LOI is a letter of intent,
Yes.
which means we want her. Okay, 2 minutes to break.
Basically, yeah. It's like make yourself available for when this starts, and we don't give you a date. We're just going to tell you, next.
So
week.
when they say, Caroline, you're on, and they start to see Snapchat photos of her dressed as Chitara at the San Diego Comic-Con, they're none too pleased.
Right. So hopefully they give me a little bit of notice because I signed an LOI for the Bollywood thing, and then and there's an MOU, memorandum of an understanding, which is basically when this starts, you will be part of it, but no details are given yet.
So if you, Kim Basinger, bail, they're going to sue the hell out of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not that they'll get much. But.
Yeah, but it's the point. You kill the what's the old the Philippines phrase? You kill the chicken to scare the pig.
Exactly. Wow.
You destroy somebody smaller, so the bigger fish will see her destroyed, and they're like, "Well, I was going to break that deal, but now I won't."
Right.
There's a famously terrible Whoopi Goldberg movie called Theodore Rex.
I never even heard of that.
Yeah, because it was like a $50 million movie that went right to cable. She did it only because Kim Basinger got sued for bailing on a movie after promising to do it. They got all the financing. She left. They had to grab Sherilyn Fenn at the last minute. And so nobody.
It's
your
time
theme song,
for a
baby.
commercial break.
But listen what Dan's
Heard the music.
Dan's playing her theme song into the commercial.
Nice.
Let's break to a commercial.
Sweet
We'll be right back
Caroline.
with the Jeff Sargent Show in 5 minutes.
Yeah, we got about 5 commercials. We got bills to pay, so.
Got bills to pay.
Bills to pay.
Wait. I got bills to pay,
I've
bucko.
got a lot more bills to pay.
Oh,
You have parking tickets to pay.
yeah.
I had bills and parking tickets.
And Jeff has a heroin dealer. Jeff has a heroin dealer to pay off.
Touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe there never was, but now I look at the night and it don't seem so lonely. We fill it up with only.
And we are.
All right, welcome back.
Welcome. We are with.
www.chaoticradio.com, chaotic spelled with a K.
Wow. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
I'm told we have to do that. So
We are with the lovely Caroline DeGrave of
the
Palm Springs from Paris.
Spelling and punctuality is very important.
Yes.
Very important.
Yeah, because people that know how to spell would spell it chaotic.
This is true. CHAOI.
You would never find us.
This is true. So chaotic, like a 14-year-old surf skateboard rat. Skateboarding's not a crime, man. It's chaotic. With a K. That's how rad we are.
Where were we?
Well, Caroline was telling us about her days in Palm Springs.
And, growing up with siblings.
Growing up with my brother and the toys that we played with.
Yes.
Or rather didn't play with, and we ended up breaking, because we did the same thing with the Barbie dolls, and he'd have his G.I. Joes and He-Man and all this stuff.
My robots and monsters.
And, we had a flamethrower, and that was one of the weapons of my brother's monsters. And so a lot of my Barbie dolls had melted feet and hands.
Her brother, by the way, if you want to visit him, he's in Pelican Bay.
Lighters and hairspray cans, right?
He was
No, we didn't get that bad.
He spent much of the late 90s setting prostitutes on fire along roadsides.
we had magnifying glasses, and those worked fine to melt.
Oh, my God.
You weren't one of those creeps who would burn ants, were you, Dan?
Yeah, I did. And salt on snails worked very good to kill.
No. We all know those tricks, but I never could bring myself to do it.
Yeah, on the sale.
Dan was the kid who was trying to talk the other kids into helping him hunt humans.
Hey.
There was a lot of snails when I picked Patrick up in the morning. They crawl out on the sidewalk.
Yeah, when it rains, it's they just come
They
on
come
out.
out. Yeah.
No, it's cool.
And
That reminds me of
worms.
France. It reminds me of France. You see snails on every tree trunk. You'll see them across going on cement.
Those are escargot.
Yeah, it's hard.
Cue Jeff East French joke now.
Yeah. It's hard to step on them after you saw that racing snail movie.
Which my nephew Ajax loves. It was Turbo.
Yeah, Turbo, that's right. I
Turbo
forgot
the
name of it.
snail.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
He when he was 4, he's 6 now, he would point at the ground and go, Turbo, and every time he saw a snail.
Yeah, I guess it makes it hard to smash them.
There you go.
The poor kids looking at you like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Turbo!
Turbo 2 has been canceled, Ajax.
Yeah, they got
Forever.
the one bratty kid who got the salt shaker out, right?
Is that in Turbo? I've never seen it.
No, I could see it coming, though.
In the
next
That's
movie.
in the sequel. We used to have little snail races, or escargot races, pardon me. In
Man.
France, my brother and I would put our chosen snail. We'd go out in the garden. We'd choose one we wanted that we thought was going to be really fast, and we'd put them side by side. And we'd sit there with these large bottles of water, squeezing them and trying to jet plane them across, hydroplaning snails across.
So have you had escargot?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, for
So
sure.
you need lots of garlic.
I never would.
Oh my God, they're great.
No. How do you cook them?
The
What's
best
the seasoning? Is it butter, garlic? Or
Yeah, butter, garlic,
just
parsley.
like oysters and stuff?
Oysters have a little bit more variety, I think, but escargot provençal is usually the one way you'll see them do. They're baked. You know, they have a special dish with like the little holes in it. Usually they come in about 6 of them. And then you put your escargot, you put like a huge slab of butter on each one, minced garlic, and some fresh parsley, and you just bake it. And yeah, it's really good. And then you eat the snails, and then you have your whole basket of bread that you're going to eat because now you're dipping into the butter the entire time.
So not to get too graphic, do you suck them out of the shell?
No, you have a little fork, like a 2-pronged fork.
Oh, okay.
And you just pick them out.
Ugh.
Same kind of a tiny fork, like when you do your shrimp cocktail.
Yeah, they look very similar to that.
I love shrimp. If they taste like shrimp, I'll have to give them a go.
No, they don't taste like shrimp. Honestly, I really
It tastes
don't
like
know.
chicken.
Tastes like garlic. Shut up,
Everything
Dan.
tastes like chicken.
Yeah, do shut up. Creeps.
No, it's the texture is like, it's like exactly what you would think, a little bit like rubbery and chewy, but it's good flavor, and mostly whatever you put it in is what it's going to taste like. By itself, it's kind of bland.
How did you go from France to Palm Springs? That still blows my mind.
Oh lordy, my dad was an orphan. He was orphaned in 1942. Nazis coming up all which way, trying to get to Paris and to seize it and all that. And his mom took him on a bicycle to a friend's house to a village nearby. So dropped him off, and this friend knew his full name and birth date and all that. And the mom went back to the house to get the older sibling, which to this day we don't know if it was a sister or brother. And the house was bombarded.
Was her in it?
Yeah, pretty much. So the family is decimated, and so my dad grew up in an orphanage because the friend couldn't take care of another child, and it was wartime.
Boy, that's cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a hard decision to make. But,
but so she told him, like, this is all I know about him. These are his parents' names. This is his birth date. This is his given name, and that's all I can tell you.
Wow.
And so he grew up like that. So at 18, he traveled around the country a little bit and around Europe and made it to Canada with a buddy of his. And then he ended up staying there and working on the pipelines under the ice there for a while.
Wow.
A hard job, but he's done all sorts of stuff. And so he went back to France on vacation, met my mother, and they continued to write letters for about a year. And then in the interim, he went from Canada and then got a job out in Carson City in restaurant business.
Wow.
Because at the time it was booming. I mean, it was growing, and just you made a lot of money in the restaurant business. Not like now.
True.
It was a way different thing back then. And so that's kind of what happened. And then my mom came to visit him. And at the time, it was like 40 some odd years ago or whatever. And if you got married, you could work right away. You didn't have to wait 3 years for a visa. So, she wanted to stay and she needed an income. So, she started working and they were married. And then I came along about 5-6 years later.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. But that's kind of the story of how I ended up in Palm Springs, is because my dad didn't really have roots, and my mom had come here and they were working here and they were making a life in the States. It just kind of happened that from Carson City, they ended up getting a place in the Bay Area. So I was actually born in France, but they were living in the Bay Area.
Really?
But because they went on vacation, and they decided to stay a couple extra months, and then the doctor said, well, don't take a plane now because...
Yeah, bad for the last...
this could induce child labor with the elevation change and all that, blah, 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 blah. And then on top of that, I came a month late.
Wow.
So they were waiting for me in October, in beginning of
We
October.
knew that from the first hour.
Right? And then I came a month late, so they had to wait an extra month for me to come around. So my mom was pregnant for 10 months, not 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Palm Springs, just because, I don't know if you know, but I was in the food business for about 10 years.
Yeah.
I worked for U.S. Foods and Budweiser, and they have a great, Daddy Warbeck's is probably one of the best restaurants.
It's also gone.
Wow.
Yes. Oh. Daddy Warbucks has been gone for eons.
Dan was planning on going back there.
Yeah, that's the only restaurant I would to go to, and they would give me a menu, and it would have the prices on it. Then they give me, my wife, a menu, and it had no prices on it. So that's a good restaurant when they do that, because they don't want the lady knowing how much they're paying for their food, because the husband's,
he's
buying everything.
Wow.
Yeah. And I just get the salad,
It's like...
I want to let you know, Dan, Alpha Beta stores don't exist anymore.
Right?
And Pick and Save is...
Safeway is gone.
Safeway's gone. Pick and Save is now Big Lots, okay?
Yeah.
Also,
Long Drugs is gone.
Oh, no. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Luckily, Dan has a Federated card.
Oh.
Yeah, Federated Group.
Yeah, I got it federated.
He's going to Licorice Pizza after this for some kicking tunes.
Yeah, I go to Dr. Strange. Our sponsor, by the way.
Wow. Are we sponsored by Dr. Strange? Woohoo.
Yes,
That'd be kind of cool.
he's an
I mean, that's
advertiser.
all true. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, the whole station is. Not our show.
No, he doesn't.
Well, we're going to talk about that after the show.
Absolutely.
Sponsors for the Jeff Sargent show.
Exactly.
Also, we're going to do some Stolen Honor. We're changing the title to the Sargent Jeff Show because he's wink wink a veteran.
And Jeff, I met your friend from the record store in downtown Upland, Bob. From his shop.
Oh, yeah, that little record store right there?
Yeah.
Where the old bank is, right across from Charlie's Stars and Stripes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was, I was having lemonade because it was a lemon festival.
I was there. I was drinking vodka. I was drinking vodka
at the
and
vodka
eating hamburgers.
festival.
No, at the lemon festival.
At the vodka festival.
Every day is the vodka festival.
I was just gonna say, isn't that every day?
This is for Friday.
So what did he say?
With Gino Felipe and
Yeah, I was drinking with Gino Felipe.
oh,
No, I was actually.
what,
No joke.
What were you drinking? Lemonade or ice?
I was drinking vodka with
because he drinks wine.
he was drinking wine. Well, yeah, because he's from the Felipe
Yeah, I know.
winery.
He's a winery guy. Yeah.
I was drinking vodka because we had the same friends and we were all at the porch of that house next to 7-Eleven.
Okay, that's where I was.
Yeah, you were not there. I would have seen you.
I was there on Saturday.
You weren't invited.
I don't need an invite. Gino sees me, and Gino's like, "Hey, come on up, man." You know?
He said I once cried because I had no shoes. Then I meant then.
At least you didn't give him your shoes.
Right?
Dan insists my feet are clown feet and I wear clown shoes because they're so big.
Yeah, I was like, they're skis.
I apologize.
That's why he's Bigfoot.
This is true. And
You
those
know
were
what
very
they-
comfortable. They took my sneaker. They took my sneakers. They got my brand of sneakers when I played Bigfoot in Colorado. And they made the shoe. They took the shoe and they made big feet around them.
Oh,
cool.
so good. You could
What
make
did
him
they
comfortable.
use?
Yeah,
What did
what-
they use to make the feet? Like, were they heavy or were they light?
They were lying, actually. They put the prosthetics around my sneakers.
That's pretty
And,
cool.
and so when you're
It's
running
like
through...
the foam latex that were
Was
mounted,
it-
glued to.
And my first week is, we had another guy on Monday, or on Wednesday. We had Pat McGee, who just played a Bigfoot in Primal Rage. And he was having a different experience. They shot his in Northern California. And mine, we shot in Colorado on a mountaintop. And they kept warning me, they go, Pat, you're not in California anymore. Be careful, because they had what they called the mountain cutoff.
Okay.
And there's a scene where I'm running, they're trying to catch me and I'm running uphill. And it's like, they call the mountain cutoff because you're like, and then you can't catch a breath.
Right, because the oxygen. Okay.
And it's like, where the hell did the air go?
Yeah. I was going to say, I
thin
know it has
oxygen.
something
Yeah.
to do with the altitude. I know that, but.
And we were 1,768 feet above sea level or
That's
something.
really specific.
Yeah, because the sign said it.
768.
Yeah, because when we drive into town, you welcome to Lake City, Colorado, and it would have that
Yeah.
exact.
Yeah, so, okay.
And the first time I got hit with the cutoff, it's like, okay, I know it's not
Yeah.
the mask isn't out of air or anything. So I just kind of leaned on a tree and kind of breath, and everyone in the crew was from Colorado, so they were laughing, and they said, Bigfoot's just found the cutoff.
So, was it like running with flippers? Like
Oh,
running
I see what you're saying.
swimming pool? Like-
Yeah, a little bit. Just
It had the footprint on the bottom, right? You had
Yeah.
to leave footprints. and
I had the
they're-
foam latex toes and everything, and so it was like imagine like when you're a little girl in your bear slippers.
Yeah.
It was like running in a pair of bear slippers. Where they have the
Yeah.
big,
Yeah, I had bunnies.
Wow, adorable.
Floppy ears.
The big fuzzy slippers, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, they had floppy ears around the sides, and there was one thing that annoyed me because I would step on the ears.
Wow.
They were always, I was always losing them because I'd walk or I'd be doing something, and then like one would fall out. But anyway.
That's a first world problem, Blondie.
Yeah, I know, right? Luxury problems. Yeah.
Yeah. My big deal is clown shoes.
Clown shoes.
Those things are so big.
I've never worn a pair. No, I've never.
Hopefully you never have to.
Well, yeah, you never know what you do as an actress. You don't know what comes down the pipe.
What's been the weirdest gig you've had to do as an actress?
Weirdest gig. Well, I was actually offered a role as a clown, which I ended up declining because
Horror movie or straight up?
it was kind of a horror movie, but like there were like these clowns that were harassing some people in a church or something. But it wasn't like they. It was they had some funding for it or whatnot, but they wanted the extras to come in without pay. And I was like, so what am I going to do? I'm going to get credit on IMDb for having been a clown in the background.
I love that. When you'll see those ads in Dramalog all the time where they'll say, it'll be credit
Yeah.
and maybe food.
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah. Credit or copy of movie.
Yeah, and that's usually what, I mean, like, sometimes I'll do it if it's local or if it's for a friend or something like that. Like, I'll be like, okay, because you do make sacrifices, especially in the beginning of a career. So, it's like, okay, whatever. But I didn't know these people, and then so when I said, look, I need some compensation for gas, at least, because I'm coming out from the desert to LA to shoot all day. I have to take a day off for this.
And they'll just be stalling you.
Right, and so they emailed me back and said, okay, but you can't let the rest of the cast know. We'll give you $10.
From LA to Palm Springs?
I was like, I'm sorry, that's a little bit more of an insult than just saying, no, we have to give you the same pay as everybody else, which is nothing. But you give me $10 that I've got to hide
I'm
from
going to slip you $10. You just keep it tight.
I know, right?
Keep it. Wait, you're not paying me enough to keep my mouth shut.
This is going to go on Facebook. They gave me $10.
At least when I did
give me my $10. Hey, everybody, I just got $10.
At least
You
when
should
I
have paid
did
me more.
Right?
my Corey and Corey movie with Alyssa Milano, at least I got a couple lines of coke.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Did you do a bump of coke with the two Corys?
Oh, yeah.
That's funny. Hey, that's funny.
Yeah.
I think at one time everybody in movies has done that.
What was that movie? What was that one where they were like grown-up teenagers? Was Corey Haim and
Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, and Alyssa Milano.
what was it
Corey
called? Do you
Feldman.
remember?
I forget, Suburban or something. It was stupid. Stupid movie. I had one line. Hey, dude. That was it.
Hey, dude.
That was my big line.
Rob, I don't believe you're reading them. Hey, dude, go to the back.
That would have been Taft Hartley.
Right? That would have been for one line.
Yeah.
I think so.
If they gave you got screwed. But
Yeah, I should have got my SAG card.
Right?
I think you got more for a bump of coke with the two Corys. You'll be
Right?
dunning on that for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you get Taft Hartley for a small role like that, you kind of get pigeonholed into only doing small roles. You'll get more work and bigger work as an indie actor. And then, if you get Taft Hartley, then wait for a bigger role.
Exactly.
But I mean, really, I'd rather take the $3,000 it takes for you to get me Taft Hartley.
But but if you get Taft Hartley, or like I started out on a commercial.
Mm-hmm.
So after I did a commercial I wrote with my brothers, and I'm performing it. After that, it was like, wait a minute, that doesn't happen every time. You know what I mean?
Right?
I mean, I was immediately Taft Hartley, and after that, it's like, before you got an agent, you went through a period of extra work and stuff, and it's like, wow, this is really hard.
It is. Yeah, it is really hard. I mean, it's like, you know what? My impression of acting at first was fairly like, well, this is kind of easy, because my first role, I got a lead role in a Western, like being at Starbucks.
Wow.
I want to see that movie.
What's it called again?
The Cataract?
Cataract Gold.
Cataract Gold.
Yeah, and actually, I have the DVD at home. It's on DVD. You can go to Amazon. I think it's $20.
A friend just showed me Tubi, and I was shocked. I have like 3 movies on Tubi. I was kind of amazed by that,
Yeah. I think I have downloaded it. I don't think I've watched it.
Burning Dead is on Tubi.
Oh, wow.
I took him to the premiere, such as it was, and they had a kiddie pool. They had a kiddie pool full of beer to drink during the movie.
That's funny.
Cast and crew are getting hammered and shouting Rocky Horror like lines at their own movie. It was very amusing.
That must have been really funny, though.
Yeah, it was
I've had some great stories of being on set. I mean, we really, we create little families because we're around each other all the time.
It's weird, isn't it? And there's always that sadness when it ends.
Yeah, there's a little bit of lethargy afterwards. It's
Yeah.
like, we're done?
Yeah.
No, we're done. We're not going to see each other every day.
Wait. I'm gonna have to buy my own lunch next
Right.
week.
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly.
You know, you can call my hotel room while I'm doing laps. I mean, that's the best when you're, you know what I mean? And with the Colorado crew, what was cool about that is they were all these hard drinking mountain folk.
Yeah.
And I would have to walk 3 miles into town. You know what I mean? Me and the special effects guy shared a cabin. And so I would walk into town. It was just 3 miles.
Not too bad.
And I'd wind up drinking with the crew, and one of them would drop me off on the way back to their cabin. So it was good.
Yeah.
You know?
That sounds like fun. I mean, not a big deal. It was kind of the same experience I had in Utah filming Cataract Gold. We were out there, and we were staying at a KOA.
Wow. By the way, it's the middle of 5. No indoor hotels. We were growing up too expensive.
Right.
And KOA was our jam. And if we would start chanting whenever we were, Gillette, Wyoming or something, Billings, Montana, when we'd see the KOA sign, we'd just start chanting KOA all the way, KOA. Because we knew you'd have a pool, you knew you'd have cool stuff. You know?
Yeah.
And they had a pool in a lobby, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
So you can play
the lobby,
games and
as a kid, the lobby always had a comic book rack, and because it was a campground, it wasn't new comics. If you missed like a Spider-Man or a Fantastic Four, it would be here. Because it's a campground, it's like 6 months old, and nobody cares.
Right?
Yeah.
And all the comics were like sad. The covers were sagging because so many people had picked them up and put them down.
They were like folded over.
Yeah. And the comics are suffering fatigue from this soul draining campground.
Highlights magazine.
Yeah, Goofus and Gallant, man.
Yeah, right?
Yep, board games, playground swing set.
Yeah, they're always missing pieces.
Yeah, the campground board game was always missing. You're exactly right.
Playing caroms, and they're not all the rings are half gone.
Yeah, I mean,
But you would grab the Monopoly board, and my favorite one, the race car and the dog were always missing.
I like the shoe.
Wow, really?
That was my thing. I don't know
Interesting.
why.
Well, you're French. You're pretentious.
Maybe it could be, but I liked it because it was easy to hold the little like tag on the back of the shoe.
Really?
It was easy for me to like move it around the board.
I like the dog. I remember learning the rules until your dad would yell at you, "What are you doing?"
No,
I
I
like
couldn't
the dog.
use the dog, or there was a horse or something.
The horse and jockey, very good.
Yes, there
Yeah,
was.
because one time I bent down while shit. I was
Hey,
like,
language.
I'm
That's
sorry,
2 days
I'm
in a
sorry.
row. You're a board guy.
Yeah.
You're the son of
You
class.
should get a little bucket.
Yeah, I didn't.
Don't
I
use
Yeah.
the cuss word.
I
Compared to
didn't-
the
I
one he
didn't-
dropped yesterday, this is an improvement. The girl sitting in your chair blinked twice and looked at me like, "Is this normal?" And I'm like, "No, it's not normal."
Hey, she's my friend now. No, but I bent down and we were playing Monopoly, and that horse went into my knee.
Ow.
And
That's gonna
I
hurt.
was screaming because I was like eight.
Oh yeah,
at
any
the
little
time.
metal parts off the
Yeah,
game board is
little
gonna hurt
metal-
you.
He put the other parts in his rectum.
No, that
John was a fetishist
Yeah,
for
the
her.
race car and the dog went in my ass.
And then there was a thimble too. That was like another one.
The
And-
thimble.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can totally tell they created this thing in the 30s.
I know, right? It's like that would never be there now.
Oh boy,
I'm surprised someone hasn't tried to sue them for that. You know what? Take that out. That's sexist.
yeah, sexist. Here's the thimble for.
They wouldn't even. People nowadays won't even know what a thimble is.
Right?
Yeah.
Is-
I know.
I had a friend though. She would collect thimbles wherever she went. She would collect
Oh,
thimbles. It was
boy.
the world's most boring hobby.
That's
I,
like people that collect spoons.
I told her, "You're going to be in a trailer park with 30 cats one day, lady."
Right?
Anybody has something as boring as thimble collecting.
Yeah, thimble. I mean, like, no.
And spoons
And
are another.
honestly, I've
I
tried
never
to
got.
use them. I don't know how to use them. Like, I've tried sewing with a thimble on my hand just to see if it worked, and I mean, it was like I couldn't. I was like fumbling, just dropping stuff. I was like,
Yeah, trying to push that needle through.
yeah, and I was like, how is this supposed to work? It's like staying on my index finger, and I'm trying to sew, and I'm like, I don't even know what hand to put it on.
I need to do that for my. I noticed my change was falling out my shorts pocket. I got a little hole in my shorts. I got to go to 99-cent store and sew up my.
I feel bad. I feel bad for any clerk taking money from Jeff and all covered in testicle sweat. This is for my coffee. And she's like, she has to call the stock boy to put the money in the register.
Yeah. That's the same thing when you see like girls coming in and they have like sweaty dollar bills coming out of their bra. It's
That's okay though. That's okay.
It's not okay when you're a cashier and you're a girl. I'm like, I don't want to touch that.
There's a Walmart in Fontana. You'll pass it on the way home.
Okay.
They used to call that the stripper Walmart when Walmarts were like 24 hours.
No.
You would be Christmas shopping at like 2 a.m. and she would come in. The girls would come in. You'd be behind a girl in an overcoat, bright blonde, bleach blonde hair, really tan, super white teeth. And she would pay for everything with singles. And you would see spangles on some of the money.
Yeah.
That's tip money right there.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of glitter on this one.
Yeah.
Right?
And you know, there was a sweaty guy in glasses throwing these at her feet.
And you don't know where that money's been.
Oh,
I mean, they're at a strip club. They're throwing it at women that are oiled up and glittery.
Right.
You know, and they're probably been doing something in the bathroom that I don't want to know about.
Right.
You know, they're touching that and then putting it on her. Then it's going to you at Walmart. Like, no.
And there was a strip club by the Walmart. You would pass on the way to Walmart called Cowgirls or something, and you would always see the strippers at this Walmart, at the Fontana Walmart. And it was amazing
Getting
because
their groceries after work.
yeah, they literally what they were doing, and
That's the 24 hours.
that was a 24-hour Walmart.
Yep.
Cowgirl's been closed for years. It's diamonds.
But,
Diamonds. We have a connoisseur.
a strip club enthusiast.
I was in the food business.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, put this on. So they throw food at them.
You notice that he knew that was not closed. That he didn't know about Daddy Warbucks being
He was
closed.
pounding on the door. Yeah. By the way, Cowgirls sounds more like a gym. Daddy Warbucks sounds like a strip club.
Yeah, right? I know, like Daddy
Find
Warbucks.
your orphan Annie, Danny.
Danny's crushed because, he can't go back to Daddy Warbucks to find his real parents. And so the Annie reboot is just...
Yeah.
Remember the Annie
Did they make an Annie one just recently?
They did. They made a Little Orphan Annie remake with Daddy Warbucks. Daddy Warbucks was Rach.
Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Mark. Hi, Teresa. Daddy Warbucks was the guy who won the Oscar for Ray, playing Ray Charles.
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx.
That's what it is, yeah.
So he's a black daddy.
And yeah, it was they
Black
did
Annie.
They did Black Annie. And here's the great part: it was produced by Will Smith, and it was
great.
going to star his daughter.
Oh, cool.
And Will Smith, with all his industry connections, at a certain point, he realized this was going to be a 4-star train wreck.
Yeah.
He pulled his kid out of it, and the movie was, I think, a big Christmas release. Dead on impact.
I know.
And
I don't think anyone saw it. I saw the trailer going to go see another movie, and I was like, you can't remake Annie like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's set in the 30s, and not only that.
The Wild West, too.
Yeah.
After the Civil War. Come on.
Right. Yeah. That was Howard Stern's joke that he would be hanging and his boots would be gone when he came into town.
Yeah.
Howard Stern said that, not us.
That's funny.
But what was interesting is he pulled his daughter out and avoided this embarrassing. But people forget the original Annie was embalmed too. It opened the same day as E.T.
Oh,
Nobody was going to go to E.T.
Yeah.
Wow, we had one family movie, E.T. or Annie.
E.T.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. A Little Orphan Annie, I never would have. I mean, it's not something that I would have seen or wanted to see.
Yeah, they have no eyeballs.
Yeah. I remember the original Annie, from the original 70s Annie, Andrea McCardle from the play was from Michigan.
Okay.
And all the talent studios in Michigan were like, Andrea McCardle's from Michigan. You should come to this acting unit.
She's from Michigan. Come out here.
All the way into the 80s, they were bragging about Andrea McCardle, Broadway's Annie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, everywhere these celebrities hail from become like celebrity places. It's like all of a sudden, like when George Clooney became a thing, it's like he's from Kansas.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's all go to Kansas now. What?
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna get discovered.
Exactly. I mean,
I should have told you to bring. Do you have any other copies of Cataract Gold? At
are we
home?
back on this?
I don't have any. I have the one, but I could get more. I have to see about going up there and getting more. But
Jeff also wanted to know if you did a tasteful nude scene in it.
there is a topless scene.
Wow. Well, I will cover his eyes during that scene.
Okay, yeah.
I love westerns, and I gotta have a few copies. I got some cowboy friend actors, and
How many think he's telling the truth?
The movies
There's
too.
a topless
How many think
scene,
he's a lying creep?
In the topless scene, I kill somebody.
Really?
Yes. So that was
What?
very therapeutic for me.
Wow. So
With a pistol, a rifle,
With a knife.
oh my
Oh.
god!
I gut him like a pig.
So they're not loaded.
No, I had my knife strapped right around my ankle, and you see my hand grab it, and it's like it's a back shot. It's an over the shoulder shot. So you have me
Wow.
doing
Did you
this
do
in
it
your-
yourself?
I did it myself, and so
So
I
you had
had the
fake blood
knife.
pouring all over the
Yeah.
twins?
We had the knife, and the blade came out. So when I'm pulling it out, you see the blade and everything. And as I stab him, of course, right before I do that, I take the blade out, and it's just the handle. And I do this like as if I'm gutting a pig, literally.
Wow.
I stabbed him like in the lower abdomen, and I shoved all the way up to his heart.
No, here's where you know it's important. Was he famous or semi-famous?
No,
Okay.
no, nobody in the film that.
Well, not after you
honestly-
kill him, he's not famous.
No, he had a smaller part. He was who was it that played it? It was Eric Cervantes. And he was just one of the thugs that was following us around, and he's like, "Oh, now we're gonna get her," because
Wow.
I'm this little filly, and I'm out bathing in the river, and I'm out walking by myself to go back to the camp and get soap. I forgot soap. So
Are you walking back topless?
Yeah, so I told my sister, I'm gonna go get this, and I'm like, and he comes out, and he comes out. From
Are
under
you
a
singing
tree.
as you're walking topless through the
I
woods?
might as well be, right?
A little more, Caroline, here's your notes. A little more bounce when you hit the rock.
I know. I gotta make them look bigger. They're not that big.
The wardrobe girl, get her something to push them up a little more.
It was funny because the set, it's outdoors, so you have everybody walking around doing their thing, and I'm just like standing there between.
And you've
takes,
never
and
had a
like,
more crowded set, I'm guessing.
No, it wasn't that bad, honestly. It was like the crew that came to the KOA, so there wasn't like extra people. It was like whatever we brought with us.
Was your mom scandalized you were showing your boobs at the KOA?
It was funny. Like when my son saw the movie when our premiere, and I was like, "This is the part."
He said, I remember those from early childhood.
Right? No, but it was
The food bank.
Funny. Right? That's exactly the food bank. That's right. No, but it was a fun time, honestly. And like by the time I actually shot that scene, it wasn't a big deal because I'd been around these people so.
Oh, so they shot it late.
Yeah, because it wasn't one of the first scenes that we did.
That's what you're supposed to do. A female director told them this, Barbara Peters. She directed a woman in prison movie. And she said Roger Corman told her, get the lead actress naked early. Do the shower scene or the delousing. He told her, get it early because after a week, she's going to start feeling like a star and won't do it.
Oh, really?
And she made a mistake in one of her biker movies. Forgot to get the female lead, the nude scene, shower scene. And so she needed a butt shot. And the lead actress, had become kind of stuck up. But yeah. So she said, at lunch, I went to the craft service girl. I guess it had kind of a big butt,
Yeah.
And she goes, Karen, we're going to need you to do Tammy's nude scene.
Shot.
And Tammy came running to her and said, no, I'll do my own nude scene.
That's funny.
Because she and
I
Barbara
don't
goes,
want anyone thinking that's my butt.
yeah. She goes, because, and she goes, I'd be happy to do it. And she said, Tammy came running to her and said, no, I got to do this.
That's a good way to do it. If I can find somebody with a body completely unlike yours and be like, well, that's going to be you.
Yeah, by the way, and she goes, she'd rather do it herself and make sure she looks her best.
There's a continuity error there.
Instead of a well-fed, kind of slovenly craft service girl.
That's funny. That's pretty funny.
That's a good point, though. I mean, it does make sense, you know,
Yeah.
because I can see someone after weeks of shooting and you're the lead, and then, you know.
Yeah, I guess for some people, for me, it was easier to do it later because.
But they weren't
I
worried.
didn't
They weren't worried you'd get a big head. They
Well,
weren't
I
worried.
didn't. I'm not really like. I don't function like that. I've been normal too long.
Right.
For this to affect me at this stage of my life, I think it's like.
Plus,
I'm not, what?
you're French. You're cool in nudity.
Yeah. Well, no. Actually, I'm actually quite pious. Like,
Sorry, Jeff East.
right? No, but I mean, like for the right role, and if it's legitimized enough for the role and the movie, and I'm like, yeah, totally, I can do implied nude or whatever. It's like if
Implied nude. No. This is not implied nudity.
This is implied.
This is a low budget Western.
Exactly, right? That's exactly what happened too. It's like, well, no, we don't have that much money. We need to make this thing sell. So, I'm like, okay.
They were going to call it either cataract. What did they call it?
They called it Cataract Gold.
Okay, and the original title was Cleavage Canyon.
Yeah, but you know what? That might have sold.
Cleavage Canyon.
There's gold
Well,
in Cleavage
They
Canyon.
would have had someone else.
Oh.
Because I don't have a lot of that. Yeah, so they called it Cataract Gold, and
Where'd you shoot it in Utah? You Moab? Did you go to
Green
Moab?
River.
Really?
Yeah, we were right on the river with the KOA there, and we did like the rapids, and we were in the boat, this rickety little boat.
Wasn't that fun? I love going on location to a different state and all that.
No,
you
yeah.
know?
Was this a time period boat?
Yes, it was. Yeah, they actually got one from that time period. It didn't like have like any like fresh paint on it, or it wasn't like some tour boat. Or,
Yeah.
No, it was really great. And it looks like we're really going fast over these raging rapids, but honestly, it was kind of a, like, they had the B-roll of all this stuff, and then they'd come on us, and honestly, we had to pretend like it was a lot rougher.
Wow.
Because we were like, we all had to bounce and sink.
Somebody has a hose in there.
Yeah.
So what were they doing with the camera? Where was the camera when they were filming in the boat? Was it in another boat?
They were in another boat ahead of us, and you had the director had the camera sitting right here, like between his knees, and then had it leveraged on the back on the bow of the boat, and so we were just behind there, and then on every little wave that happened, we would all bounce super high, as if like something was really happening, because it was really slow moving.
Wow.
Yeah, we were like, this is like we're taking like a little like stroll, like kind of like just relaxing.
I had a call come in from a friend of mine. We have new listeners. I have one from India,
Nice.
one from Japan, and I got 3 from Indiana.
Wow.
Three from Indiana.
Who's your country?
And
Japan, and where else? In India?
India
Those are our new callers, everybody.
In
New
Nigeria.
listeners.
and Nigeria.
Oh, Nigeria. Do they want our bank account number?
Yeah.
No,
He's a
no.
prince. He's an African
Right?
prince trapped in Nigeria.
Yeah, we
But they asked, speaking of
He's trying to get back to
cleavage,
Wakanda.
I was asked by someone in Indiana, speaking of cleavage, have you ever considered or thought of, Palm Springs is known for plastic surgery.
Absolutely.
Have you ever thought of getting
a breast
job?
augmentation.
Yeah.
I've actually thought of it, and I don't know. Honestly, I'm not against the idea,
Neither am I.
I'm for it as well.
right? But I mean, at the same time, I'm like, kind of like, I'm not in any rush, or I'm like,
If you should
whatever.
do it, you may come on the show and talk about your brave struggle.
Okay, well, you know what? If
No,
you
you have to
sponsor
show
the
'em.
surgery,
Yes, you get to see a full frontal.
You would have to walk us through it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll tattoo chaotic radio on them.
right?
Pretend you're auditioning for Cataract Creek 2.
Oh my God, no.
Next question, Dan. What's the next question?
That's it. That's the only question I got.
Oh.
That
Was
the
that
only
from
question.
a creep in Nigeria or a creep in India?
India.
India.
In Indiana.
Okay,
Indiana.
who's your ask this?
Okay.
But no, I got a lot of friend ads while we were out. So
Wow, good man.
no, I'm like, who is this guy in Japan? I'm like, is this spam? Do I know you? Are you are you
I
just...
get a lot of requests.
And I'm like, I don't know you. And he's like, I'm a fan of your show. I like your show.
I'm a fan of your show.
That's
good.
cool. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. I mean, I have a bunch of friend requests of people I don't know with no mutual friends. And I go to their profiles and they have no cover photos and they have no about section. I'm like, who are you?
The one I feel bad for, you keep getting these Russian bikini models with no friends.
Yeah, I get those too.
They just take their own picture in a bikini and nobody wants to find them.
These Slavic beauties are waiting for you.
Right?
That's on your phone all the time and I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Jeff, you must be quite the creep surfing the net because...
I'm not going to bring any Slavic beauties here to America.
No.
We have them right here in the studio.
The only thing that has more viruses than Jeff is his computer.
I know, right?
We have the Jeff Sargent Show does have more listeners, new listeners from from Indiana, Japan,
Nigeria,
and India.
Nigeria
That's great.
and India. Excellent.
We keep growing and spreading like fire.
Yes, worldwide.
Thanks to guests like you, Caroline.
Thank you.
www.
goes global.
We appreciate that, baby. Thank you.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. I should probably friend all those people. I have like 900
Give them
waiting
your credit
requests.
card number if they can't afford to keep it up so you can keep your
I
friends in
have
your life.
one with a balance of $2. I'm here. You have that one. See what you can buy.
Wow, my friend Cha Cha is all the way from Dixieland.
Dixieland, cool. Welcome.
Cha Cha, Cha Cha.
Cha-cha.
Cha Cha Arviso.
Yes, we got some people from Dixieland. We got them all over the place.
All over
awesome.
the place. That's
Dallas, Texas is listening.
Wow.
Dallas, hey Dallas.
Woohoo! What up, Dallas? By the way, who killed Kennedy?
Speaking of which, I know Jack Halloran said that he knows for sure who did. And in Family Legacy, the book, and what he's going to make into a film and the trilogy, that's all going to be explained.
It makes me very sad that Jack is going to slip in the shower tomorrow several times. We'll dedicate Wednesday's show to Jack.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I sat with him and he told me exactly what happened, and he's got some of the missing footage of the famous clip.
Zapruder film, wow.
I'm like, really? You have this?
Yeah.
You're sitting on a gold mine, you realize that.
Yeah, don't let those government creeps find out.
Yeah, no, well,
Now they will now because our show is worldwide.
Jack is about to fall down the stairs 9 or 10 times.
He'll punch him in the mouth.
He talks openly about it, and I'm sure that'll get released if anything happens to him.
Jack, exactly one of the best Jack Superman stories. I mean, Jeff East's are great, but Jack's are amazing because Jack was the first guy to come out and say, well, Christopher Reeve was not a nice guy when we were making the movies.
Right.
And you'd heard that rumor for years when Jack said that, and Sarah and other people just came out, and Jack said he was roid raging because Reeve was on steroids, allegedly, because he wasn't really pumping iron like
like he was supposed to be.
And that was one of the interesting stories from Jack that everybody started saying that after Jack came out and said it.
Yeah. Jack has got a very candid way of speaking about things, about situations, events. I mean, some of the stories that he was sharing with us. I mean, we were having so much fun talking about these people that he had been on set with. Like Robert Mitchum.
He does a great Mitchum, doesn't he? I can listen to his Mitchum stories forever.
Oh my God! Like I felt like I knew the guy.
Yeah.
Like when you talk with him.
Hey kid. Yeah.
Right,
and after our other friend Steve Maiority telling his Mitchum stories too.
Man. Right.
And like, wow, this is pretty cool, man.
Keep the camera on the guest. We got a bond in the studio.
No, I mean honestly, I felt like, you know what, I would have loved to be on set with those people just to have seen like what they're like and to talk with them and
But his candor in telling these stories and the Reeve stories, I'd heard because I covered the Superman cast for years, the franchise and all that.
Yeah.
And after Jack did that, everyone just started quietly saying, yeah.
They're like, okay, we can concur.
Well, Jeff East was telling us about. Remember, he was Christopher Reeve would come coach him. You've got to be more like me.
And then he turned around and dubbed his voice anyway, which he wasn't supposed to, which is kind of a dick move. And I remember Mark McClure telling me, I wasn't really Superman's pal. So. And a Makeup Girl, one of the most terrific stories about him came from a makeup girl. And she said she'd worked, right before the accident, she worked with him in a couple TV movies. And she said one of her apprentices goes, "Oh, you're working with Christopher on this. You know, I love him and I love the Superman movies. I can't wait to meet him." She said, "Because you love him so much, that's exactly why I can't let you meet him." And she had her do the rest of the crew, the cast and crew. And when she heard her barking at her boss and the other makeup ladies, she thanked her later. You know what I mean? And you know, and
I've heard that. I mean, there's some people that are really unpleasant to work with, but that's every industry, everywhere I've ever worked. There's always a couple that just don't get along with everybody, or they've got such a big head that they make it miserable for everybody else to be around them.
What is your best and worst experience with a celebrity in Palm Springs?
The best experience with a snobbery in Palm Springs?
Celebrity. Sorry, I was too close to the mic.
What? I'm like,
Celebrity. I was about to take a drink.
Snobbery.
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 I don't have any good stories about snobbery.
We're the Knights of Nimp. Go
Right?
get us a shrubbery.
Right?
A snobbery.
Go on.
The best story of the celebrity. Let's see. Well, Adam Sandler came into a restaurant that I was working in, like in my early 20s, and you know, we were all like, "What's he gonna order?" You know, like we have this special, we have this dish, we have that and the other, you know, and everybody's getting like whatever top dollar dish we had, and he's like, "I want spaghetti and meatballs."
Wow.
I'm like, cool. Like, I don't think we can mess that up. You know. And then on top of that, we almost dropped a meatball on the way over there because the guy that was holding it was like, "I'm gonna go get the Adam Sandler."
Oh no.
Oh my god. You know, like,
Come on, it's Billy Madison. Sit down.
I know, it was just funny because, like, you know, we're not like in the restaurants, we're not supposed to be like, you know, starstruck or anything. We don't go and ask for autographs. We don't go and bother them. It's like, just drop it off and leave. You know, and that's your typical etiquette. And so he was like, "But I want to talk to him. Like, he's Adam Sandler." I'm just like, "No, I'll take it if you can't handle this because I don't want you making a fool of yourself."
And when Adam ate to the bottom of the spaghetti and meatballs, he had Caroline's headshot staring up at him.
This is your next co-star.
He said,
What is this? Doing the Kevin Spacey
"Yeah, that's Kevin Spacey routine."
Yeah, that was a cool little story. It just, you know, like, you know, I didn't talk with him. I think he walked by and he was like, "Hey." I'm like, "Hi, I don't know what to tell you."
Then slapped you on the nose.
I know, like, and he's, you know, it's funny because another thing, celebrities, you never know how tall they are until you see them in real life because they're always shot from an angle.
Yes.
You know, given.
And they're all short. You're all taller than all.
I swear, everybody is short in Hollywood. I mean, I go on set and I'm like one of the tallest people there, and I'm like, "Is this for real?"
I've noticed that lately when I watch movies and I see, is this girl really tall?
Yeah.
Or is this guy? Because I see a lot of the men and women are the same height.
Yeah, yeah,
And, you know, guys like me and Pat, we're towering
Right,
over everybody.
yeah.
You know?
And I've never thought of myself as especially tall. I know I'm on the taller side, but I'm like 5'8", okay, whatever. I mean, everyone's Hollywood like 6 foot tall, right? You know? So I'm like, "I'd be short."
Yeah, I mean, you're almost 6 foot. You put on heels and you pass for 6 foot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that high heels anymore. I used to own some big heels.
Oh, a little Miss Sensitive on the addition. Got a bunch of flats.
I started wearing flats because I was like,
Taller than the guy
short.
you're auditioning with.
I
Wow.
swear, I was like, this is not going to get me any roles if I'm taller than every leading guy.
Wow,
Hey,
nice.
speaking of comedians and funny guys, Marty Ross is talking.
Marty!
Hey, Marty. How you doing? We got to get you on the show, Marty.
Right on. Hi, Marty.
Oh. No, tell us, what do you have coming up? Besides, you're doing the Bollywood Medusa gig. Talk about that a little bit if you want.
Yeah, well, that's like I said, we're starting to do that in sometime late summer or fall. And we might have the teaser we're going to be doing in the UK or US territory, depending on what they end up settling on. Depends on who funds what kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have another short film called Shovel that I'm part of that's actually going to be turned into a feature. They're doing a short and it's going to be followed with a feature. So
Right.
I think my scene is going to be in the feature itself because the short's already pretty much shot. And I was like, no, you know what? I guess you can introduce me in that, but I really want my character to be developed. You know,
I'm doing that too. We're doing like a proof of concept short for a movie we're shooting this summer. So,
Oh, cool.
you know.
Right on. If you need me, give me a call.
I Of course.
No, but I mean,
We'll pass it on.
Right, yeah, definitely. And then, so we're doing that, and then I'm going to be writing a screenplay, possibly with Ken Carpenter when I see him. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah, because he was like, I met him, and then he said, well, you know what? Well, if you have a few stories that you want to pitch or whatever. So I said yes, and I gave him a ring, and we talked about it. And he was like,
He said it's
yeah,
about a girl who's topless walking into the creek.
Yes, exactly. And I get to kill him.
Oh, yeah. Ken's working on the ending.
We'll do this in every Caroline DeGrave movie.
Right?
The topless killer.
No, we are not doing this.
Oh, she took her top off. Someone's going to get shanked.
Right? Yeah. I don't want to give away the story like that, so I'm going to stop doing that.
Just blur the bottom. Just blur the bottom of your headshot.
It's like no spoilers. If every time I took my top off, I killed somebody,
Wow.
There goes all the suspense.
It's like watching a Sean Bean movie because he dies in every movie.
Right.
Although Sean Bean is kind of famous because he did one of the Jack Ryan movies. And there was a famous, I think, Entertainment Weekly article where he saw Harrison Ford working with the stuntmen. And so he turned around and said he wanted to do a stunt too. And in the Entertainment Weekly piece, he kicks Harrison Ford in the nuts.
Oh,
Wow.
And they said Harrison Ford makes a fist, then he just grabs the counter of the scene,
no.
and he just said, "That is why I work with stuntmen." And just walked
Right?
off the set.
I was like, he's not into method acting.
Yeah, isn't that terrible? You kicked the world's biggest star in the nuts.
That's a story to tell people. I mean,
It is. It's hilarious.
It's like, yeah, I think it was Jack yesterday. He was saying, because we had a little bit of a Q&A after the movie played.
So were you moderating? Did you interview Jack?
I wasn't moderating.
Boo you.
I know. Well, hey, can't be everywhere. And I think Alan Rudy was. But anyways, so he went up there and he was like, you know what? They pitched me this, one of the biggest scripts that had come in Hollywood at that time. They wanted me to play this guy. And, I came in, I looked it over, and I was like, well, you know what? I've got some things going on right now. Honestly, he's like, I know a guy up in Jersey or whatever. He's got like 6 kids. He needs a job, And they're like, what do you mean? No, you're supposed to sign his contract. This is part of the deal. And the producers are going crazy. He says no. He's walking off set. He's walking out of the building, and he sees James Earl Jones. And James Earl Jones says, Are you Jack O'Halloran? And he says, yeah. He's like, did you really just do what I heard you did? He's like, well, that depends. What'd you hear? He's like, you just told Hollywood to shove the biggest movie up there.
Wow.
And he said, well, I guess if you want to put it that way, I did. He's like, I got to shake your hand because I've never heard anybody do that.
Yeah, career suicide.
Well, I mean, it's funny because Jack had plenty of stories like that, but yet he kept getting work. Like, he turned down the Johnny Carson show. He did other stuff that I was just like, anybody would have just been pleading for an opportunity like that.
And
he's like, nah.
Hackman liked him so much. He was in this crazy Russian movie called March or Die.
Okay, yeah.
With Gene Hackman, and that led to Superman. You know, and
he had signed that actually when this other movie deal came up, and he's like,
that's
I
right.
got this thing, blah blah blah, and I was like, really? Like, what? How did you? What? The money blown kind of thing.
Yeah, that you can walk away from that kind of money. You know.
Yeah, like I just didn't.
I believe he did. I know he did.
Yeah,
you know
I could see Jack doing that. Never would I do that. I'd be I can swing this. I can do this.
I'll work for free. Give me a credit.
No, I'm working for money. I mean, like when I see those kinds of things, I know how much money those things bring in. I'm like,
exactly.
This is pennies to them. They'll hand me a couple million like nothing.
Oh man, look what's in the window.
Yeah, guys, we gotta wrap things up.
And we're like in the 30-second mark. Caroline, lovely, sweet Caroline, plug yourself.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for coming in. Now plug yourself.
Okay.
Where can we find you?
So Caroline DeGrave Official on Facebook.
Spell it.
Okay, Caroline DeGrave, DE capital Graeve Official, OFFICAIAL. And let's see, on Instagram I am Caroline_DeGrave. And then on Twitter, I am Enaloric_Eve. So it's my first name spelled backwards.
Wow.
Enaloric.
Look at you, fancy pants.
Underscore with EVE, the last 3 letters of my last name.
Wow,
And I
thank
put
you.
this together before I was in film, so I just didn't want to change it because I think it's kind of clever.
It is.
And anyway, so yeah.
And where can we order the Cataract Gold movie?
Well, you can
Okay.
go to Paul Keener Productions on the website, and then they have like the store you can
All right,
go to.
guys.
Or Amazon.
We're off the air.
What?
Oh, we're off.
We're off.
We didn't even tell them
Time
we're
for
on
the
Wednesdays. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Just have a buzzer in here.
I know. Hey, you were great, by the way. Thank you very much.
Thank
know,
you. Yeah, you guys are
You're going to do pictures with us, and I think we're going to hang with you before you leave back to
definitely.
the Springs.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, Caroline, thank you very much. You're always very funny and very cool.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you. No, I'm pretty good at keeping up with talking.
And Hot Chick Friday, you hit the ground running. You came in and then just the show went.
Yay! I know, right?